Mm-hmm.
One of the major industries I think that can probably start with winners too, because I think people come to our channel to, hear which stocks might be good.
Mm-hmm.
One of the likely winners is actually the industry of construction.
Mm-hmm.
Companies that are in construction, in
Mm-hmm.
hardware, building supplies, they actually often see increased demand
Mm-hmm.
before
Mm-hmm.
and even after the hurricane. So I
Mm-hmm.
remember
Mm-hmm.
whenever a hurricane used to come, I remember Hurricane Ivan specifically. My parents took that one seriously. That's the
Mm-hmm.
first hurricane I remember them taking seriously. And we went to the hardware store and we
Mm-hmm.
bought some tarpaulin and we bought like a bunch
Mm-hmm.
of stuff to like batten down like the windows and ensure the windows, because there's actually a lot of rain. I thought Hurricane Ivan
Mm-hmm.
was going to be this cool thing. My brother and I
You said
did
no school. You said, yeah,
no
man, no
school.
school.
Yeah, bro,
It's
we were
different when you're an
still.
adult, huh?
Yeah, we weren't in high school at the time. We are definitely still prep school and
Mm-hmm.
thing. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember specifically this moment. I remember making hot chocolate
Mm-hmm.
in a thermos, and it was like a thermos full of hot chocolate, and me and my brother would sit outside on the
Mm-hmm.
patio, and we were waiting on the
Mm-hmm.
hurricane. We're like, hurricane, watch us,
You sick
But
freaks.
I mean, we were
Sick
so young, we didn't
freaks.
really we didn't really know what to expect. And it
Uh-huh.
turns out that was the worst possible thing. That was the worst hurricane ever because so
Mm-hmm.
my dad at the time on the patio is like very well ventilated. You can actually see a lot of outside.
Mm-hmm.
So what he did
Mm-hmm.
was he put tarpaulin up and lashed it
Mm-hmm.
onto the I
Mm-hmm.
guess the grill, the thing that separates us
Mm-hmm.
from outside. But
Mm-hmm.
there was a portion where we could see through. There was like a big gap that he would
Mm-hmm.
later actually lash onto the grill and
Mm-hmm.
so on. And I remember specifically watching a ton of rain coming and lightning and so on, and we heard the
Mm-hmm.
wind. That was the craziest part. We heard the wind whistling. I've never heard the wind whistle before as a kid. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yo, this is actually the coolest experience ever, blah, blah, blah. Bro, we had no light for a couple weeks. Water
Mm-hmm.
didn't come back for days. That was the most excruciating time of my life
Mm-hmm.
because mosquitoes were about and we had no light, no fan. The place was hot for days. We had to help
Mm-hmm.
with like picking up a lot of the debris outside. And so it was just madness. But
Mm-hmm.
the thing I remember was actually going to the hardware store and,
Mm-hmm.
seeing other people buy like plumbing supplies or like lumber supplies like wood to like
Mm-hmm.
batten down certain
Yeah,
areas. So I think a lot of companies, and I'm talking companies like Lumber Depot
mm-hmm.
or Atlantic Hardware,
Mm-hmm.
those kind of companies there could be a surge in like the even in the aftermath of a hurricane, like the rebuilding, the repair
Mm-hmm.
activities.
Mm-hmm.
So I think sales can be boosted for a lot of those hardware retailers and
Mm-hmm.
construction firms and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, lumber definitely. In fact, there's a Gleaner article I want to share. I'm not sure where to share this with you. I'll probably put it in
Put in the
the
chat here.
telegrams. Oh, the chat here. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'll do is I'll be able to share it for everyone to
Mm-hmm.
see.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's brilliant. How do I open the chat? Perfect. So what this article says is so this article is about lumber rebounding from Hurricane Beryl, and this was an article made December 18th, 2024. So it talks about what lumber does, and if you guys don't know what lumber does, we have an episode on Lumber Depot. But it was basically saying Lumber Depot, which operates a hardware store in Papi in St. Andrew, made higher profit for its second quarter, which signaled a rebound from earlier disruptions from Beryl. And they're just talking about, the outlook remains cautious based on wider challenges in the construction sector. So there are a bunch of different factors, but it said the company was able to achieve these positive results despite the challenges of Beryl and its adverse impact on the construction sector. In addition, the construction sector experienced supply chain challenges for critical construction inputs which affected their sales and so on. But you could see that the profit actually jumped 20%. They said it was due to operational efficiency and higher revenue. But why was the revenue higher? So you could kind of see that it could be because Hurricane Beryl can disrupt supply chain, and they said it in this article as well. But they could have also made a lot more money by selling a lot of hardware things to people that needed to either repair their homes or businesses and so on. So yeah, I think lumber or Atlantic, or I don't know if there are any other, maybe Carib cement. I don't know if that would increase or not. Demand for cement, maybe some demand for lumber, steel, roofing is also another thing that spikes due to like rebuilding damaged structures and things like that. So
maybe also like a Omni, because the Omni sells Omni. They are what they sell a lot of the PVC, those white plastic looking like pipes and stuff like that.
True.
So
yeah,
and
so
I think they sell other products too.
It can. And I'm thinking, because like there could be short-term dips from, and I think this is every company. Like there can be short-term dips from lost things like production days, distribution challenges, because the roads aren't precisely road not accessible.
Cannot cross it.
Yeah, exactly. You should find that clip.
Nobody can cross it.
Right. But yeah, like, and then I think about even there are other construction firms like JFP. I even forgot about JFP. Like those are companies. They're in construction. Yes, they do a lot of like building interiors and furniture and things like that. But they also could help damage certain fixtures or signage and stuff like that. I'm even thinking of. I wonder how Fosrich would do too. I need to actually look at that. Because Fosrich Supplies, I know they do like a lot of lighting and electrical things as well. I don't know if they also supply generators. I feel like they install generators too, and like backup power solutions and things. So yeah, but those are some of the companies I know that can be affected by a hurricane. This episode is obviously not us wishing a hurricane could happen or so on. We just speak about if it does happen, then what? Never wishing a natural disaster on our country at all, because that just sets us back. It sets us back tremendously. But yeah, I think that's the key takeaway is I think construction and hardware industry, they usually are resilient, right? Pre-hurricane, there's usually a sales boost from my understanding. Post-hurricane, there's also a bigger surge for reconstruction depending on the level of damage and so on. So hey, if you're holding stocks in this sector, maybe expect some short-term volatility. We will see. But I think there is potential medium-term gains as, like rebuilding drives revenue and so on. So some to watch, right? Companies to watch.
Yeah.